Hi Stampers, it's Rachel here from rachthestamper.wordpress.com, and today I thought we would make this really pretty card that I saw on Pinterest. It's a split card, which is super duper cool, and the best part is you don't need any extra card because we're going to cut out the piece in the middle and we use that for this side part here, which I popped up on Dimensionals, and then you connect it underneath, so it's pretty seamless. And then you can put your sentiment here. And then I also did a little bit of a peekaboo sentiment here, which I thought was really, really cute. And I've been really wanting to use this set called Here For You because it has a lot of really great sayings in it. And I just haven't used it yet. I keep wanting to, and I haven't had a chance. And then I thought for the front would be really pretty if we use the Artistically Asian set. I used this a little bit ago, but I haven't used it recently, so I thought it would be really pretty. So what we're going to do today, this one that I already did, I did in Saffron, and then I used the Designer Series paper stacks, and then I colored the flower in using Always Artichoke and Saffron as well, and then I used some of the white thick baker's twine. So instead, we're going to switch this one up a little bit. So what we're going to do is, let me just move these little guys over. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a color, and we're going to stick with the black, but instead, is that the one I used? Yeah, Saffron. Instead, what if we use, which one was that? Tangerine. I'm trying to think what color this is. Calypso Coral. That would be pretty. Let's use the Calypso Coral. And instead, we'll use the dots and the words. Okay, so Calypso Coral here. And then we're going to get a piece of black, basic black cardstock, a piece of white cardstock, and our Stampin Trimmer. Okay, so this card is pretty straightforwardly simple. I'm going to show you how to make the cuts in it. It's very, very easy. I actually saw the idea on Pinterest, but it didn't really have any explanation, so I figured the simplest way to do it, I farted around with it for a few minutes, and I figured out the easiest way to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of basic black cardstock, and this is 4 1/4 by 11, so we're going to go ahead and score it at 5 1/2. And then what I kind of did was I was sitting here for a few minutes eyeballing what would be best for the gap. So I kind of came up with if we had 2 inches and then 4 inches. And then the way I ended up cutting it, this middle piece just worked out that it fit in there perfectly. So what I did is, you don't have to flip it around, it's the same both ways. But what I did is I took my score line and I lined that up with the 4-inch mark down here. Let me make sure I'm on 4-inch mark down here. Okay, and then I trimmed off that piece. Okay, so this will be the bottom piece. And then I moved my score line down to the 2-inch mark here and lined it up and cut again. And then this is going to be the piece that matches the middle. Okay, so we're going to just set these on the side just for a moment. And so this piece is 2 inches, and this piece should be about 1.5 inches. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut the Designer Series paper so it's just a hair thinner. Okay, so instead of 1 inch, we're going to do, I think I did 6/8 of an inch by, it was about 4 2/8, I think. 4 1/8. Because you just barely want it to leave you a little teeny bit of a layer. So we'll do this here. So it'll be 4 2/8, and then just shy. All right. Nope, that was too small. Sorry about that. Let me go back and do that again. You know why? Because this was 1.5 inches. That is why. So it was 1.5 inches. So it's going to be 1 3/8, I believe. All right. Yeah. We'll go with that. That's fine. 1 3/8 by 4 1/8. See if that lines up on there. That's good. So that's going to give a little bit more of a fat layer. And then for the top piece, we will do this one I said was 2. So this will be 1 7/8 by the same thing again, 4 1/8. All right, and let's see how that one lines up. That should be just perfect. That's perfect on there. Okay. So again, so this one is 2 inches. So then this piece here is 1 7/8, and this one is just a shy, which it's okay. It's just a little bit shy, shorter, no big deal. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get a piece of Whisper White. So we're going to have one piece for the inside. So we're going to trim this up to be 4 by 5 1/4. 5 1/4. And then we're going to need one more little piece for our other wrap piece, which now I have misplaced my, oh, no wonder. That one goes up here. There we go. So that's about right. So now we just need one piece for this. Whoopsie. All right, so again, this is about 1 7/8 by 4 1/8. It's not quite a 1/4 inch shy, it's just a little bit smaller. Okay, so let me move all of this out of the way so now we can do the rest of this together. Okay, so let me just show you one more time how our pieces are. So what we did is we had our long piece and then we just trimmed off. So we cut at the 4-inch mark, which gave us this little piece down here. And then we moved it up and we cut at the 2-inch mark, which gave us this piece. So now we're going to take our card and we're going to just score it here. Okay, so what we'll end up doing is we'll line this piece up here at the bottom, and then this piece here is going to be the connection piece. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our designer series paper onto our card. And grab my snail. So I'm going to put the polka dots on the top piece. Okay, so they're going to line up just like that. You could do this with, it doesn't even need to be the designer series paper stack. You could do this with any paper. Make it really pretty with just any of the regular designer series paper. The only thing you want to make sure you do when you put this on is, since this does have words and it is directional, just want to make sure that you put it the correct way so someone would actually be able to read it. Okay, and we're not going to put the inside piece in yet because I'm going to show you how we do that when we stamp. All right, so just for right now, we're going to go like that. And then we have our little white piece that's going to go on here, just like so. So let's get our flower. So what we'll do instead is we're going to use the, what was that? Calypso Coral, and we'll still stick with the Always Artichoke. So I'm going to just use my marker to color in the image here since it's smaller, because if you stamp it, you kind of will have green flowers. So we're going to just color this in, and then we will just huff on it, which is just exhaling on it just to re-wet the ink so it will stamp. And if you do get any of your flowers in the Always Artichoke, you can certainly color over it with the Calypso Coral. Just wipe off your Stampin' Right marker after you use it, just to get the excess off. Okay, and I did do it a little bit darker down at the bottom, but I'm going to show you something else that I did afterwards as well. So then we're going to color just the flowers in with the Calypso Coral marker. Okay. And almost done. Okay. So let me grab my pad and put a piece of scrap on here. Okay, so I'm going to just exhale onto this. I know this is wider, but that didn't really bother me so much. So, okay. All right, so this one did turn out a little bit darker than the very first one I did, But the first one I did was very, very faint. So what I ended up doing is I just went over it with the marker a little bit and just kind of filled it back in just slightly, which kind of gave a really cool touch to the flowers because it almost gave a little bit of dimension just because of the little darker parts. So I kind of just went just slightly. I didn't fill in the whole exact thing. I just did a little bit of highlighting, if that makes sense. And then the same thing down here at the bottom, I just kind of went through and filled in, and it kind of gave it a little bit of depth to it. And then I did a couple, just followed just a little bit of, I didn't want to do too much to actually refill it in. I was just trying to give it a little bit more dimension. And then the other thing I did was I took my Aqua Painter and I just dabbed a little bit of the ink here just to create a little bit of a shadow below. So the flower's just not standing there on top of nothing. Doesn't have to be super dark, but it just gave it a little bit of a grounding to the flower. I thought that looked pretty. And then just clean your Aqua Painter off there. Okay, so now the only other thing you have to do, I thought it looked nicer. They had it wrapped with a little bit of ribbon. So I think the blue would be a little too dark, but I think that the copper would look really pretty. So we're going to do the copper. Now the copper is super, super duper thin. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back here. That way I'll have somewhere to hook it to. I'm going to just unravel this and I'm going to just wrap it around. I'm going to keep the piece in the front just for it to stick out. And then we're just going to wrap. Doesn't have to be neat. It could be overlapping. It could be all in one line if you like, but I think you really need to do a little bit of this for it to show up nicely. All right, and let me just nip that. Okay, and then I'm going to put this on Dimensionals just to give a little extra something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put one right here just to secure everything, and then I'll put two more at the top and one in the middle, just like that. Ugh, here, this is the most painful part for me, getting these darn protectors off. So while I'm painfully suffering through this, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up to follow me on YouTube under Rach the Stamper. We're also having still a blog hop. If you go to my blog, rachthestamper.wordpress.com, you can click on everyone's blog, leave a comment with the hashtag Stamp It Contest to be entered to win a really nice prize. And there are 10 blog hoppers, so there's 10 chances to win, so I hope you'll stop by and check that out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to just pretend. We're going to figure out what we want to do. So when I did this card here, I really wanted to use this very long thing that says, sorry, I don't have anything more profound to say. I thought it was really pretty. However, I had to put it up high because it's so big. And then I wanted to put this little extra I'm here for you just to give a little bit of something. So I off-centered mine really far. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pick a different one for this one. So how about if we put on the top, so sorry you're hurting, and then we'll still use the I'm here for you. So let's see if I can find that one. I think that's this one. Yeah. Okay, and let me just grab a block. This block actually came with the Watercolor Wishes kit. So it's a different shape. It's really cool though. It comes in handy for these little ones. That's another great thing if you haven't gotten it. It's a kit that you can get. And it has everything all in it. So all you have to do is add adhesive. And if you'd like, you can just branch out and do something different. All right, so we're going to do again. So none of this is fastened down, as you can see. So I'm going to just kind of put my paper where I want it. And I just want to make sure I'm still, right in the camera. Okay, so I'm going to put my paper where I want it. I'm going to close the top and I'm going to put the bottom down. And I'm going to just set this here, just so I can eyeball where I want to put this little sentiment here. Make sure I have enough room. I'm going to move it over just a hair And I'll move that over just a hair. Is that the right way? Okay. Okay, and let's see how that looks. And oh, that's nice. The reason I didn't also didn't put it down is because in case we mess up, we can use the other side. So we'll just take this off, move that out of the way, and then I'm going to put this up top. This says, "So sorry you're hurting." And actually, you know, we could put this on the top. You could put it on the bottom. That works out really nicely. There you go. Okay, so now to adhere the card together, again, this is going to be very simple. You can do this one of two ways. You can either put this down like this, and you can put adhesive here, which is what I did on the first one, or you can put it on the bottom or the back of your card here. So this time I'm going to try it on this way. So I'm going to do is just put some adhesive here, just on the bottom and the top. You don't want to overlap because then your card will keep getting stuck. So just figure out approximately where you want it. Make sure, don't even push it down. Just make sure you like it where it is, that it's not blocking your sentiment, and then just give it a little push. And there you go. That's it. Now the only thing we have to do is just put down our inside piece. And all set. Just make sure it's right in the center. Perfect. So that looks really, really pretty. And because I can never leave well enough alone, I'm going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella, because I just think this is so pretty. I'm just going to put it right up here, just kind of in the negative space, just to give a little bit of shine. Nothing on the color, just kind of around the color. Little sparkle to it. If you don't have Wink of Stella, the other thing you could do, if you have the glimmer paper, not glimmer paper, that's not what I wanted to say, the shimmer white paper would give you that effect because it has that shimmer in it, so it'll be really pretty. I don't know if you can see that, but it does look really pretty with that little bit of Wink of Stella in there. But anyway, there are two really simple ideas for you to use this really, really cool set here for you. Has so many really, really nice sayings in it. Some kind of things where sometimes you just don't know what to say, so they've thought of something for you to say. And I think that Artistically Asian set is so pretty. It's very easy to use. It's very versatile. I really love the bamboo too. That would look beautiful on here as well. And even though there are pieces that are cut off here, you can't even tell. It is such a beautiful piece. Other thing you could do is you could even stamp the little symbols up here. You could put that in the top if you wanted to, or you could put it here in the negative space as well. So I hope that's given you some ideas. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me an email at rachthestamper@gmail.com, or you could leave me a comment on WordPress, which is rachthestamper.wordpress.com. And if you're there, be sure to follow along with the blog hop. It'll give you a chance to win something cool. You can also follow me on YouTube at Rachthestamper. I'm on Pinterest and on Instagram. And if you'd like to get all these supplies and more, you can visit my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Thanks for taking time to watch, and I hope you guys will give this great card a try.